Man United 2, Brentford 1, and this is the immediate reaction. The game is just finished, and so let's get into my immediate reaction. And so, on a Brentford side, we had a really good first 15 minutes, and at 2.5 minutes in, we had a really good chance with Sharda, but he just completely missed the ball, which is unfortunate. But this first 15 minutes was incredible. We pretty much just dominated the game, but yet again, that was only 15 minutes, and after that, we kind of tailed away. But one thing in general throughout the first half I'm going to point out, or like pick out, is that our transition from defence to attack was so good. It was fast. Like, we played out from the back so well in the first half, and then when Man United would press, we'd beat the press so easily with one or two passes, and we'd be into the final third. But this does come with like an error in it, because it was like we beat the press so well and we got to the final third, but whenever we got to the final third, the final product wasn't there in terms of creating chances, I'd say. So we got into these positions to create chances, and then we just never made any good ones. And I thought it was often players like Keane Potter getting the ball out on the wing, but not really creating much with it, or players like Sharda in the middle not getting in good positions, or Mbeumo just having an off day in general. And so I thought it was really good, the transition, but we really could have been better in the final third. But after the first after the first 15 minutes, we really tailed away, and it was Man United's game, really. They had slightly more control of the game, but they weren't at all like dominating like they did at the start of the second half. But throughout that first half, we still had good transitions, a few like chances here and there, but nothing really to rave on about. And then a big talking point, I'd say, is the De Ligt injury, and he obviously cut his head open during the game from a collision with Sharda, and it was quite funny. He was like always being sent off and on, like over like 20 minutes, just being told to go back off, get it cleaned up, because he can't be bleeding on the pitch, and then he'd be sent back on for like 5 minutes. And so just before the end of the first half, he got sent off again to go and clean up the blood, and we had a corner, and we go and score the corner. And so you kind of think, if he wasn't told to go and get off, would he have been there to mark Pinnock? Maybe yes. And so I understand a lot of frustration from Man United players, but they really should have dealt with the bleeding sooner in the game, get it completely sorted, and then send him on for the rest of the game. But yeah, it was a great moment, scoring just before the end of the first half. Pinnock's header, Damsgaard's assist, and so yeah, we were on top of the world at that point. But we do know that will change in the second half. Now into the second half, and it started terribly for Brentford, but for Man United it was great. Minute and a half in, back post cross, and Garnacho just puts it in really, really nicely, and it's a great finish from him. And it's kind of like, that's our thing. We're the guys who are supposed to score quickly off kickoff, but Man United have done it against us. And yeah, early goal from Garnacho, and then they really just dominated for half an hour in the game. In that time, Højlund got a goal. It was a good finish. I think Flekken came out really quickly, made himself big, and Højlund chipped it to the one place that Flekken wasn't covering. So fair play to Højlund, it was a good finish. But I thought the game then changed from the 66th minute onward, when Wissa came on for us. And once Wissa was on, our passing patterns were back, and it was just, we improved so much as a team, which is really good to see. And Wissa will be back for us for the future games. He'll be a really big part for us in the Ipswich game next week, which hopefully should be a win. But yeah, it was really good to see our improvement when Wissa came on. But for me, there were still no real standout moments. So yeah, one moment I can think of was sort of towards the end of the game, a Carvalho shot, but it was just wide. I think he had actually another. Wissa might have had a shot. No, Carvalho had a shot earlier in the game as well, which could have had a good trajectory, but Wissa unfortunately blocked it by accident. He didn't know anything about it. But just to end the video, I'm going to go over some of the Brentford players and go over their performances. And so Bryan Mbeumo, he really had an off day. He didn't really have any influence on the game. And I've heard lots of Brentford fans say before, he's a confidence player. And I really agree, because when he's playing at home, whole crowd's behind him, and he's confident, he's incredible. He's getting goals and assists every week at home. but away from home he really struggles, I feel like, to have an impact on the game. And when he tries to have an impact, it feels like he just, I don't know, he just tries to do something, he tries to do too much and it just never goes well. And so, I mean, I'm sure next week we'll see Mbeumo back to his best, but away from home, it's just sort of poor performances from Mbeumo in general. I'd say Damsgaard had a good game in general. He's been in really good form recently, just his general play. And I think we saw a bit more of that today. He got the assist for the corner, which was good to see. Now I thought Aya also had a good game, up and down the left-hand side all game. I think he got the cross in possibly for the Sharda chance at the start. And so yeah, I think it was really good performance from Aya. Centre backs played well in general. And finally, Kevin Sharda for us. I think he didn't have a great game, but I would say it's not entirely his fault because he's a player who gets in behind and he's playing striker, and so he needs more service, and he's not getting the service at all. But I think one thing that sets players like Wissa apart from him is that when Wissa's at striker, he'll drop deep, he'll help in the build-up play, and his finishing's pretty good. But for Sharda, he doesn't seem to get involved enough. He doesn't get enough service, true, but he's also just not getting involved enough, and he's not really in the game and doesn't benefit us at all. But of course, his natural position is left wing, and I'm sure he'll play left wing next week against Ipswich and have a great game. And so, yeah, I think in the preview video, Ben and I predicted that Carvalho would be a striker, and I think that our prediction was because that's what we thought would be best, playing Carvalho at striker, someone who could drop a bit deeper and have more of an impact on the game. And so, overall, not a great game. We've just lost. You're never happy. At points, I felt we could have got more out of the game from our performance, but Man United had 30 minutes of domination, which got them 2 goals and was enough for them really to get the win. And so, overall disappointed. Confident we can get 3 points next week against Ipswich at home. But yeah, thank you for watching. Don't